if I got to do that to, if I got to sell my soul, or if I got to do this to get bigger, I'm just not that dude. And I don't have anything against other brothers that did it. If you notice, I'm not bringing up no names because I know they all did it for their reasons. That's just not my style. That's just not something I'm doing. That it was about to be the end of the Jamie Foxx show. You get what I'm saying? Because the same thing, it's a good problem that he had in his life. Because the problem he had was the same problem that Will had.
You being around Diddy back then, you know anything about, his relationship with Jamie Foxx?
Yo, the relationship Diddy had with Jamie Foxx, well, I met Jamie Foxx on the tour bus. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, we was at, oh my God, it slipped my mind where we was at, but they was on some friendship stuff, and it was a tour bus, and Puff was in the back, and there was a lot of girls in the front, and Jamie was just real touched.
When Alex Thomas sat down for an interview, fans were ready for hilarious Hollywood tales, but what they got was pure shock. Instead of cracking jokes and sharing funny behind-the-scenes moments, Alex dropped a bomb about his falling out with Jamie Foxx, and it got messy. The whole thing traced back to the Jamie Foxx show, which for Alex had been a total dream job. He said it never even felt like work, more like showing up to a comedy club where all your best buddies hung out. Everyone on set was already like family to him, from Jamie's manager to producer Bentley Evans, even Marcus King. These weren't random coworkers. They were his crew.
Jamie, from the days of when he was on In Living Color. I was one of those, put it this way, I was with Jamie the night he got out of valet, out of his, I want to say it was a 1988 240 ZX, got out in valet to walk in to audition for In Living Color. I was there the night when he did 5 minutes and got a standing ovation, and the next day he was a member of In Living Color. So I was kind of there from the beginning of the journey with him. I like to tell people I was there from his $1,500 a month apartment to his $27 million mansion. And I'm so proud of him because he's one of those dudes that never forgot where he came from. We always stayed close. We stayed tight. It was like working with your friend every episode. And you got to understand, it's the similarities between the Jamie Foxx show and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I wasn't on the Jamie Foxx show at the beginning. It was the last 2 or 3 seasons, 4 seasons, something like that. And it was incredible. A lot of people say, hey man, they didn't even really start watching as much until all of us came in Jingles 2000. You know what I mean? Me, Mouse, Curtis, all the guys, you know what I mean? So it was his homies. And we literally just had fun every episode.
But then everything went downhill. Alex said the fallout started near the end of the Jamie Foxx show. Word spread around the set that the show was coming to an end. They were filming the last few episodes, and everyone could see it. Jamie was about to follow in Will Smith's footsteps, leveling up from sitcom favorite to a full-on Hollywood movie star.
The falling out with me and Jamie, it was one of the weirdest situations of my career. It was like my first real dilemma of, oh my God, what am I going to do? This is a blessing, but another blessing just happened to come on the phone. You know what I mean? So long story short, it was the end of the Jamie Foxx show. Like, we got wind that this is about to be the last episode or few episodes. So in a nutshell, I was a regular on the Jamie Foxx show, right? And I forgot. I mean, I stopped counting how many episodes I was on, but there were some huge episodes that I was on. And I want to say I got the call from Dr. Dre maybe with 2 episodes left, but we knew that it was about to be the end of the Jamie Foxx show. You get what I'm saying? Because the same thing, it's a good problem that he had in his life, because the problem he had was the same problem that Will had. Okay, you have become so big now that it's now time for you to be a movie star. So exact same thing what happened with Will Smith, and I was there. I got to see it. I was sitting in the dressing room when they walked in the script for Independence Day for Will. You get what I'm saying? Like, this dude's about to go from here, right, to out of here. You know what I mean? And that's why cut to Independence Day ended up being one of the biggest movies of all time at that time. That dude was literally ready to become a super box office star. it was time for him to move up. You know, it's almost like in comedy where you go from clubs to auditoriums to theaters to arenas to stadiums. It was like that for them. So in Jamie's case, it was basically the end of
that. When Alex got a call that flipped his whole world upside down. Out of the blue, boom, it was Dr. Dre. Yep, that Dr. Dre. He said, "I'm heading out on tour, and I want you to host it." Alex was caught off guard, totally confused, but he figured, why not? So, he decided to roll with it.
He goes, "I want to do something that had never been done before." And I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "I want a comedian to host a huge hip hop tour. It's going to be the biggest tour of all time." And I was like, "Oh, really? Who's going to be on it?" He's like, "Man, Ice Cube, NWA, there'll be Snoop Dogg, the East Siders, Warren G, Dub C, and the new kid, his name is Eminem." And I'm like, Eminem was fresh, brand new, but blowing the hell up. I'm like, "Oh, this sounds like this going to be huge." He's like, "Man, 30,000 seats, every single city in America. I want you to host this." I was like, "Okay, so when are you starting?" He like, "Thursday." I was like, "Thursday?" Thursday? He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm on a TV show, Dre." He's like, he just cut straight to it. He's like, "How much that paying you? What you getting paid a week?" And at that time, at the Jamie Foxx show was big for me. I was getting $5,000 an episode, right? For a young up and coming dude. This is, 20 something years, 25 years ago. I'm like, "I got to get it." He was like, "I'll double this." I was like, "So what time am I going on stage Thursday?" "How long is the drive?" "Where is the first city?" And the first city was Chula Vista. I'll never forget. Chula Vista, San Diego. And now I have a dilemma. And my dilemma is, the bottom line is, no concert on the planet is bigger than any TV show. All right? I don't care how big your concert is. TV show hits whatever. Hundreds of millions of people all over the world. You get what I'm saying? But I had to weigh it out, man. 2 more weeks of $5,000 or damn near make $500,000, $300,000-$400,000, the most I've ever made in my life, on a 40-city tour around America.
He took the gig, and that's when things between him and Jamie started to fall apart. Alex suddenly left the Jamie Foxx show to join the Up in Smoke tour, and everyone on set was stunned. To most people, it looked like he bailed right before the finish line, but from Alex's view, it was a once-in-a-lifetime shot. The tour completely changed his life. He made more money than ever, bought his first house, and even scored a role in The Wash. But Jamie, he didn't take that move too kindly.
I went out there, killed it on stage in front of 30,000 people. He's like, "You ain't even got to audition. You got to roll." So not only was it the most money I'd ever made doing stand-up on a rock star level, but now I got a movie out of it and I bought a brand new house. Jamie was upset, because I became really a part of the Jamie Foxx show. But he ended up...
Alex admitted it was one of the strangest points in his career, his first real crossroads. On one side, he deeply respected Jamie, but on the other, he had to think like a businessman. And when it came down to choosing between 2 more TV episodes or a life-changing tour, the answer was pretty clear. Still, Jamie didn't see it that way, at least not right away. According to Alex, the tension started to build, and what happened next only poured fuel on the fire. Around the 25th stop of the tour, Jamie Foxx showed up out of nowhere. He'd heard all the talk that Alex was killing it as the host of the biggest hip-hop tour in the country, making serious money, and building his own buzz. But seeing it in person, watching 30,000 fans go wild as Alex commanded the stage, that's when Jamie's jaw practically hit the floor.
30,000 people. I ripped the roof off that joint, and he was proud of me. He's like, "Hey man, you stood up, you had to do what you had to do." You know what I mean? And basically that was squashed. It never came to like F you or F you and I don't like you, you ain't. No, it was a business move I had to make. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've never told anybody this. I believe that if I was a part of the Jamie Foxx show from the beginning, and we were like had guaranteed 4 more seasons on the WB, I would have said no. I would have had to respectfully say no to Dr. Dre, right? Because TV's bigger than me going anywhere live. You get what I'm saying? But things happen for a reason. Ended up being the biggest tour in hip hop history. And at that time, it was the biggest DVD in hip hop history. I did something that had never been done. No comedian was going on stage in front of 30,000 people every night. You understand? The most I had went up in front of was when I would open up for Damon Wayans or Mark Curry or Jamie Foxx back in the day, 5,000. 5,000 was a great sellout for any comedian in the 90s. But for me to go from 5,000 people to 30,000 people, do you understand how huge that was? And then you got to understand, I tell people like this, I'm the only one on the show every single night in every city in America that the people did not come to see. My name wasn't on the bill. You saw Eminem. You saw Dr. Dre. You saw Snoop. You saw Ice Cube. You saw Warren G. You saw the East Siders. You saw Mac 10. They didn't put me on the billing, but it was a great surprise to the audience because even Dre and Snoop came up to me one night and they were like, cuz, you killing it, cuz. Like, they know you, cuz. I was like, I got a little start on my...
Said the tension never turned into an all-out fight, but it definitely changed everything. From that moment on, things were just different. Jamie went from being like an older brother to acting more like a rival, and that's what really hurt. Alex had always looked up to him, from the In Living Color days to supporting him through his big break. But one career decision was all it took for Jamie to flip the script. Alex never openly trashed Jamie in interviews, but his disappointment showed. He called it one of the strangest moments of his career, that clash between loyalty and opportunity. He explained that if the show had been guaranteed for more seasons, he would have stayed, but it wasn't. And in Hollywood, he said, every show eventually wraps. You're only as good as your next gig. Still, fans couldn't ignore how this story made Jamie Foxx look. To some, it seemed like he couldn't handle someone else from his circle shining on their own. To others, it confirmed what Hollywood insiders had been quietly saying for years. Jamie Foxx might be insanely talented, but he doesn't always play nice when the spotlight isn't just on him. Even Gene Deal backed that up, claiming Jamie isn't exactly the person people think he is, especially when you consider his close friendship with Diddy.
Being around Diddy back then, you know anything about, his relationship with Jamie Foxx?
Yo, the relationship Diddy had with Jamie Foxx, well, I met Jamie Foxx on a tour bus. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, we was at, oh my God, it slipped my mind where we was at, but they was on some friendship stuff, and it was a tour bus, and Puff was in the back, and there was a lot of girls in the front, and Jamie was just real touchy-feely, but Puff didn't come out the back. I don't know if Puff came out the back of the tour bus. You understand? And Jamie went back there for a minute or so. Then he just came out and he was all touchy-feely with the girls. And I'm looking at this dude like, wow, this dude kind of like touchy-feely with these girls. And he don't even know them. They know him because he's Jamie Foxx. But he didn't know them. So I don't really know their real relationship or how close they was. I didn't meet Jamie Foxx and really have a conversation with him until I was at his house and I was with Scott Storch. So I don't know how close they was and how close they wasn't. But when I met and I had a conversation with Jamie Foxx, it was about, he was talking about people coming out there to California and show business, and the rappers and the singers and stuff like that, and they get connected with the gang members, and the gang members have a whole different ideology. And he was telling us that people mess up when they get with the gang members because they ideology and what they want out of them is totally what they looking for, whether you use them for security or whatever. And then this time we was at his house and Scott Storch was doing some beats and doing some music for him. And I was playing pool, and the dude told me, say, yo, I was playing Jamie Foxx. And he said, yo, let me just tell you something. If you beat him, especially on his table, and I wasn't no hell of a pool player. I was damn good. I was good, but I was no hell of a pool player. I'm sitting up there playing. The dude say, yo, man, if you beat him, you gonna have to beat him all night, or he ain't gonna let you go home. I said, what do you mean he ain't gonna
That's right, Gene Deal claimed. Jamie would sometimes invite people to stay over if he really liked them, a detail that definitely raised a few eyebrows.
And Scott had been out all day, so I scratched on the 8 ball, and he called that a win. So I said, good. All right, I scratched on the 8 ball. I did that shit on purpose so we could leave. But him and Diddy relationship, and I see what they saying about what happened, and I really want to hear the full story about what's going on with him and Diddy, and if he really said, and it showed that Diddy, poisoned him, or he's the reason why he got sick that night. I want to hear that for myself, but I know it's trending on the internet, but I don't know how true it is. I don't know their relationship as far as other than he was cool enough to get on the tour bus, fill up the girls and go to the back room and chill with Diddy, then come out, fill up the girls and leave. That's all I know.
And you said him and Diddy was being touchy with the females?
No, he was. Diddy already had some female in the back in the tour bus, and Jamie Foxx got on the bus like he owned it, like it was his. So I know he had a conversation with Puff before he got on the tour bus. You understand what I'm saying? I know he had a conversation because he wouldn't have got on the tour bus unless he had that conversation with him. He wouldn't have been able to go to the back unless he had a conversation with him.
Lex Thomas never meant to stir up rumors about Jamie. But his story lit up the internet fast. Suddenly, everyone was talking, digging into old Hollywood gossip, and spinning their own theories. What started as a simple story about friendship and fame quickly turned into one of those viral moments where the internet takes a tiny spark and turns it into a wildfire.
How you feel about the gay rumors surrounding Jamie Foxx?
What I think about the gay rumors is that's Hollywood, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get to the top. I've said it 1,000 times, man. The people that indulge and make that type of behavior common, like they don't have a problem with it, putting on the dresses, you understand, acting as if they a woman, taking those type of roles. When they show those people that they are capable of doing that, they are capable of doing anything. And that's how they get their rise into their fame.
Lex Thomas had been in Hollywood long enough to know that success always came with strings attached, but even he wasn't ready for the surprise that popped up on his phone. One afternoon, a 6-figure movie offer from one of the biggest directors in the business. The catch, the role was something completely outside his comfort zone.
For the gay room?
Wow. That's crazy you asked that. That actually happened to me right after we came out of COVID. And I'd always heard about this. You always hear about, in Black Hollywood, you ain't made it until you either play a gay role or you get offered a gay role. And I'm like, oh my God, it has finally happened to me. So I get a call from my agent one day, and he was just like, Alex, a huge offer just came across my desk. Huge movie, a lot of money, huge director, and I just had to run it by you. I was like, cool, so what is it? He's like, well, I do want to just let you know up front, it's a gay role. And before I even get into it, would you play a gay role? And I told him respectfully, no. Just nothing against gay people. I have gay friends, gay family. I know gay people, but just personally, that's just not something I'm trying to do. I have 2 young Black sons, and I'm their example, and that's just not something I want to do, right? He goes, respectfully. He goes, but can I ask you a personal question? I say, yeah, no problem. He said, what is it about Black men or the Black culture? Why are you guys so homophobic? And I'm like, well, I can't speak on behalf of everybody else. I'm just speaking on behalf of myself. It's not something I want to do as a Black man with 2 young Black sons. You know what I mean? And a beautiful wife and a daughter. That's just not something I want to put your bureau. Carlton, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. One of the greatest roles in TV history, right? Made millions and millions of dollars off this role. One of the most famous actors in the world off that one character, right? But to Black folks, he is Carlton to the day he dies. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Facts.
So I'm going to give you the example of what I'm talking about. So as far as Alfonso Ribeiro, we all know Alfonso Ribeiro could be in the next Avatar movie. No, Alfonso Ribeiro could be in the next Black Panther. And you know what black folks will say, right? Black folks will be like, you see that Carlton in the new Black Panther movie? Yeah, Carlton done went from Bel Air to Wakanda. That boy Carlton, he cold-blooded, right? And I say, it just be my luck, Art, that I say yes, and I agree to do Broke Black Mountain 3. And now I'm just known to the whole black world as the gay black cowboy that got a train pulled on him up in the mountains by the Indians. Now I'm just known as Raheem, you know, and now I got to deal with, I'm out in public with my two sons, black folks coming up to me like, oh, he's 18. There go Raheem. Hey, Raheem. Hey, you killed it in that movie, bro. Hey, man, them Indians blew your back out up in them hills. But they tore your ass out the frame.
The backlash came fast. His agent questioned why black men seemed so against certain roles, as if it came from hate, but Alex said it wasn't about that, it was about image and culture. In Hollywood, he explained, once you play a certain kind of role, people lock you into it. You stop being seen as an actor, that becomes your identity. He even pointed to Alfonso Ribeiro, better known as Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as the perfect example of how one role can define you forever.